Level up your English with Skyrocket English class. Your past tense doubts answered. The difference between the past simple, the present perfect, and later in the video, the present perfect continuous. So let's get started. We make the present perfect with the auxiliary verb have plus the verb in participle. For example, we have eaten today. Negatives are made by putting a not after the auxiliary verb. For example, I have not seen a good film recently, or I haven't seen a good film. The question is made by reversing the subject pronoun or noun and have. For example, have you seen a good film recently? This I'm sure you already know, but when do you use it? Well, the present perfect has two meanings. The first is to express something that started in the past and continued until the present. For example, in this case, she has played tennis today. The tennis match happened in the past, but today still continues. And the second is to express that something happened in the past, but you don't know when it happened, or it is not important. For example, Tom has seen the Rocky films. We don't know when Tom saw the Rocky films, and it is not important. The important part is that he has seen them. Now, the first major confusion that students have is when do you use the present perfect and when do you use the past? Well, the past simple refers to actions that have finished in a period of time that is now over. This is called closed time. Present perfect, on the other hand, happens in the past but continues until the present. These actions happen in what's called open time. That is to say, a period of time that started in the past but still exists. For example, this week I have spoken to the teacher. This week still continues, and so it is present perfect. And last week I spoke to the teacher. Last week is finished, and so it is past simple. Past simple and present perfect practice. Okay, to practice your understanding, I will give you a time from the past and you say whether it's closed time, referring to a finished time and so past simple, or whether it's open time, referring to a time that continues, and so present perfect. For context, imagine we're having a conversation at 3 p.m. Ready? Number 1. This morning. Right, if the conversation is at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, then this morning is finished. For example, this morning I saw a pigeon in the park. Number 2. This afternoon. Right, if the conversation is happening in the afternoon, then the time continues, and so it is present perfect. For example, this afternoon I have visited a museum. Number 3. So far, which means until now. Right, so far is a continuing time, and so it is used with the present perfect. We use so far when we're in the middle of a task. For example, I have read 50 pages of this book so far, or I have driven 20 kilometers so far of a 50-kilometer journey. So far. Number 4. In the last few weeks. Open time or closed time? Right, open time. This is another confusion because last week is finished. For example, last week I went to the gym. In the last few, however, is a continuing time, and so it is used with the present perfect. For example, in the last few weeks, I have gone to the gym many times. Finally, 5 minutes ago. Open time or close time? Right, close time. Ago is automatically finished. For example, I called him 5 minutes ago. Now let's move on to a tense we use to express a duration of time, and that is the present perfect continuous. The present perfect is made with the auxiliary verb have plus participle. For example, I have worked at home today. The present perfect continuous is an extension of the present perfect, with a participle of to be and the verb in continuous form, changing it to I have been working at home today. But why do you need it? Well, the continuous form is very common in English and expresses the action. In this sentence, for example, the second example is far more dynamic and interesting than I have worked at home today. I can imagine the action of working much more clearly when the verb is put into gerund to make I have been working at home today. Questions and negatives work in exactly the same way. Change the subject have to make an interrogative, such as have you been working at home all day? And negatives with haven't. For example, no, I haven't been working at home all day. At lunch, I went to the pub. A very common question for the present perfect continuous is for time with how long. For example, how long have you been waiting for me? Or how long have you been living here? You can, of course, use the normal present perfect here, but it is much more normal to use the continuous form to express the action of waiting and living. However, there are some things to remember when using the present perfect continuous. These are: number 1, not all verbs can be put into continuous form. Verbs that can't be used with any type of continuous are called state verbs. These include to know, to understand, to love, like and hate. For more about state versus action verbs, see our video. Number 2, the present perfect continuous is never used with the question have you ever or with negatives with never. For example, have you ever been travelling to India is impossible. This is because both have you ever and never refer to one event, not a continuing action. They are only used with the present perfect. To practice, I will give you a sentence. You change it to an interrogative with how long and the present perfect continuous, and then you answer what is true for you. Sentence 1. What's your favourite TV series? And the question, how long have you been watching your favourite TV series for? And my answer, well, I have been watching my favourite TV series for about a month. What about you? Sentence 2. Read your current book. And the question, how long have you been reading your current book for? And my answer, I have been reading my current book for 2 weeks. Sentence 3. Work in your current job. And the question, how long have you been working in your current job for? And the answer, I have been working in my current job for 5 years. Sentence 4. Playing sport. And the question, how long have you been playing sport for? And the answer, for me, I have been playing sport since I was at school. Here I have used since and not for to express when the action began. Sentence 5. Study a language. Here the question is, how long have you been studying a language for? And the answer for me, I have been studying a language since I was 29. And so there you have it, the difference between the present perfect and the present perfect continuous. If you enjoyed this video, check out our others in the series. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.